So now I'd like to introduce our clinicians for this session. Mira Kim and Carrie Bastian are in their 5th season as directors and core ensemble of Red Cedar Chamber Music, and it's a Marion-based nonprofit which brings unique and intimate chamber music experiences to underserved populations in eastern Iowa. Red Cedar was founded in 1996 by flute and guitar duo Jan Boland and John Dowdall. Over the course of 25 years, Red Cedar has been awarded 17 grants from the National Endowment for the Arts for their rural outreach programming, 3 coveted Chamber Music America residency grants, and is designated by the Iowa Arts Council as one of the state's 43 cultural leadership partners. Beginning in April 2020, Red Cedar began offering live stream concerts in order to continue reaching their audiences during the pandemic. So without further ado, here's the Red Cedar Chamber Music presenting the importance of chamber music for young musicians.
Okay. Thank you so much, Stephanie, and welcome to all of you. We're delighted to be here. We thought that we'd just start our presentation off with a little music because we can. So we're going to play a piece for you that we commissioned from our composer in residence, Michael Kimber, a wonderful composer, viola pedagogue, and colleague of ours who lives in Iowa City. And this is a 3-movement work. The first movement is Passeggiata, which means a leisurely stroll. The second movement is Romanze, and the third, a Tarantella. Not right? Okay. Thank you.
All right, so we'll.
Thank you very much. We're just going to make a quick transition to a sitting position so that we can chat with you now.
Okay, so exit full screen so that you can get to the stuff, and then I'll
We
start
can anyway.
the-
We can do share screen.
Turn on that, and there we go.
Okay, we're back.
Are we back?
Yes, we
We are
are.
back. Okay.
I see Scott Conklin there.
Hi, Scott.
Okay. Can everyone hear us okay? Thumbs up? Okay, wonderful. Well, we're here to talk about chamber music in youth musicians, but we thought we'd start by telling you a little bit about our organization because we're unique and unusual, and sometimes people don't quite understand what is it we do, how do we do it. So I'm going to share with you. Is it this?
Yep.
Okay.
And then start slideshow.
Okay, you do that part. I don't know how to do that. Oh, slick. All right, we are Red Cedar Chamber Music, a nonprofit.
Just the down arrow.
Oh, the down arrow, okay. So every year we create about 3 concert programs, and then we give multiple performances of each around Eastern Iowa. We actually serve a 7-county area in Eastern Iowa. Down arrow. We pride ourselves in taking our performances to the people. So rather than being in just formal large venues, we do some formal ticketed events, but mostly we just go to community libraries, community centers, senior living communities, small towns, and wherever people normally are gathering, we try to take it to them. And as Stephanie so nicely told us all, that's incorrect. We were not established in 1995, but around there. We were incorporated in 1997, and we're now the directors, Carrie and I. We're also the only 2 staff members. We are cultural leadership partners, and we've been funded by the National Endowment for the Arts 17 times. In fact, is it 18 now? We just learned 2 days ago that they've funded our rural outreach programming for the upcoming season. The bulk of our work, we have about 80 to 100 events each season, and the bulk of our work is in schools with students. We go into the music classroom. We also go to senior living communities. We do rural outreach, and then we have a few ticketed events each year.
Our funding model is a bit unique because we don't, book gigs and then get paid for them per concert. We're actually fundraising through these diverse streams all year round so that most of our concerts can be given away free to our audiences. And as I said earlier, we're a staff of 2. So of course, the music is the reason we exist and the most important thing. And we come up with our programs. We commission a lot of new works. We've commissioned the organization has commissioned over 50 works in its 25-year history. And of course, we perform. But we also do grant writing, fundraising, marketing, graphic design, accounting, archiving, and obviously public speaking. And the reason I include this is just that obviously you're all music teachers music teachers in some way. And of course the music skills are important, but also any of these other skills that students are building in whatever way are useful, especially for 21st century musicians now.
You must stop share.
I'm stopping share.
Is it my turn?
Yes.
Okay. So, I thought just to get this topic going, I would share a personal story about my experience coming to Iowa in 1993. I really had gone through, before I came to Iowa, a kind of a personal crisis where I quit playing the instrument for a full year. Before that, I was still in school, but I was playing professionally in an orchestra, and I just did not like where the orchestra grind was taking me, the audition process, all of these things. So when I went back to school, I knew that I wanted to teach. I knew that I wanted to play chamber music, and I came to Iowa for graduate school to study with the Stradivari Quartet and to pursue a career in chamber music, whether that be in a university professorship or as a chamber musician. I learned, I caught the conducting bug because of my experiences with James Dixon, and I won the principal cello job of the Cedar Rapids Symphony, and so I spent the next 22 years of my life in an orchestra, which I enjoy, and I'm not trying to talk down on orchestra players or orchestra playing. It's a wonderful, powerful instrument, but it's not what I chose to do with my life. And so I ended up doing that, and it was great because it was a half-time job, and I got to do a lot of other things, teaching and conducting and collaborating with many, many different people. But I have to say that the best part of my job in all those years was when the string quartet, the principal players, was functioning and really well and doing a lot of work together. And then in about 2006, I began playing with Red Cedar Chamber Music, and that became the greatest thing that I was doing. It wasn't the most money, but it was the best work that I was doing, reaching audiences and really playing at a very, very high level of musicianship and thoughtfulness, and it was very personal nature. And so I think that I guess what I think almost all of you know, and what we don't probably need to be reminded of, is what makes chamber music special, and that is that it is instead of playing in a section where if you fake, no one can tell.
If you fake well.
Right. There's a sense of independence. There is a sense of individuality. There is a sense of ownership and responsibility to your colleagues. And I mean, there are a great many things that will do for a player in terms of their technique. And I think, we all understand what's different in that way. And this is a great diverse group of people. And I have to say, first of all, it's been really interesting to see how people innovate and have tailored their programs during this challenging time to reach their students. This is incredible. And frankly, in my experience, and I'll address just the public school programs that I've had the experience of working with, chamber music is very difficult to do. It takes so much time. It takes takes thought in terms of organization, and it takes time in terms of planning, and it's more difficult to match students up than one would guess. And so I think it's something that needs to be started very young. I think that it can be done in really small ways, and I've seen a lot of those things. I have to say, my son's graduating. Our son is graduating from high school, and going off to study at the university with Scott Conklin. We're thrilled about that. But in his class of seniors, about it would have been about 13 or 14 years ago, I was teaching at the Prussel School summer chamber music camp. And there was a group of 3 violinists, and they were one of them is graduating next year, and 2 of them graduated this year. But I played the cello and coached, and the 3 violinists were in this quartet, and we played, little, very small music on very small violins, and the guys were all about this high, and we called ourselves the Boom Quartet. And I mean, in my experience at the Prussel School, they have done an incredible job. Now, obviously, these are a lot of students that have started very young, but really, I've seen chamber music done with book 1 and 2 students, and I think that as a reminder to us all as teachers, if we play duets with our students, if we make a habit of having them make music with someone else, I think that's a powerful thing, and it's a powerful starting point. So in private lessons, in the school program,
I use the Carl Grissom Learn with Tunes. Even when a student is well advanced beyond that, it's fun to pull those out. They're like 1-line violin duets, easy notes and rhythms, and to just play them. I think when I play with my students is when they realize without me telling them that is sort of why they're putting in the work and the study and the practice to be able to play their instruments, because then you do something really rewarding. Obviously, playing in orchestra is so rewarding. I mean, it's great to be a part of something so much bigger than yourself, and I think that's amazing. But as Carrie was saying, as soon as you get one person to a part, there is a new sense of ownership that takes over. They really have to hear themselves and listen to themselves.
So as I said, I think it's, in my experience observing and working with public school programs, it's very difficult to make chamber music a regular part of the curriculum that reaches everybody. And I think that we focus maybe too much on honor orchestras or things like that, and we don't maybe plan ahead or take the time. I also think that it's harder because it requires one-on-one instruction. So my first suggestion or idea, and I'm just going to throw out some ideas, and I'm hoping that this will help you all think about this and continue to discuss this, so that you can find the ways that fit with what your resources are. But some of the things that I've seen are older students from the high school coming down to the junior high, or from the high school going down to the elementary, and taking that time to work with students outside. I think that that there are parent volunteers available. There are clinicians. I mean, we often go and coach, but it doesn't have to cost a lot of money to do that. I think that even just as simple as sending a string quartet into another room to play the music that you're preparing in orchestra, even just to get them out to do it one on a part, to give them that sense of responsibility, I think that's a place to go. One of the really difficult things is repertoire. So I mean, gosh, there are so many good resources, and I'm not sure it matters what it is as long as they do it. As long as you can find two violinists who want to play together who are about at the same level, or two cellists or violinists and cellists. Some of the best things I've seen are before school programs of a little cello ensemble. I know a lot of schools do chamber orchestras before school. I think that we need to start having a time of year which is maybe reflective of the entire school year, where there's time in the class period, or there's time in the week that people have turns and have opportunities to do this. So
Or
I
even like with solo and ensemble contest, maybe if the students prepared just a little bit more in advance, because I know my kids have certainly said, oh yeah, I'm going to play this with so and so and so and so, which is great, but they might, just rehearse once or twice, even just getting a few more rehearsals in, or maybe having a more intentional repertoire choice could make that an even more meaningful experience.
So I would like to give you just one quick repertoire suggestion, something to look at. I met, gosh, about 8 years ago, a composer named Jeffrey Hudson, a cellist, and he was in the process of working on what he called the quartet project. This is like Bartok's microcosmos, and I'm sure some of you are familiar with it, but I've been able to see a lot of this in action. It's in 6 volumes. The first 3 volumes, I think, can be played 3 violins and cello. In other words, the viola part can be a third violin, so you get an idea of the level. But really, it is book one at the beginning stuff. It is very approachable, and it's interesting, good music, and it gets to be
It
pretty
progresses.
advanced, and things are short. And I think that's very valuable. So Jeffrey Hudson, the Quartet Project. If you're not familiar with it, check it out, and see. So I think we have just a moment, and I hope that you guys will have a chance to talk about this, or if if you ever are looking for a repertoire suggestion or anything, reach out to someone and find it. Do we have any questions or comments, or anybody want to throw out another suggestion of something that they have done in their program to get chamber music going?
Oops. What was it? Jeffrey Hudson.
With a G, Geo.
Whoops. Well, see, that's helpful to know.
Yeah, I should have sent the link. I should have got the link ready.
And what's it called? The Quartet?
The Quartet Project. Yeah. So, okay.
All right, well, it's been wonderful to commune with you via Zoom. And I hope you guys have a wonderful evening, and I'll be checking into some events. We have to go off to do some family stuff now, but I'll be checking in tomorrow and look forward to it.
And thank you so much to the Red Cedar Chamber Music Group. It's a wonderful performance, and thank you for all those words of wisdom for us.